Well, it's time. Welcome, everyone, to CyberCast IRL. It's Friday, July the 18th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining me this morning. We got lots to get to today, I'm sure. We got everybody in the chat. We're going to have a good chat today, I think. Was on jaw-jacking this morning with Jerry over at Simply Cyber, and we had a great panel, and there was just a lot of people, and he had to cut off early. So I think everybody kind of started making their way over here to the CyberCast IRL chat room a little bit early, and that's kind of nice because then we get some of that pre-show going on in the chat room. A lot of fun. Let's see who we got in the chat room today. Looks like we're working with, of course, the one and only Wayne's Real World, but he was beaten by Alan Reeder. Alan Reeder was #1 in the chat today by just a moment. So very cool. Carrie Chasen in the house as well. I see my wife making an appearance. What's up, honey? Thanks for joining us. Wes Bryan in the chat room this morning. Very, very cool. Who else is showing up today? Alpha Sierra. That's right. As well as, I'm trying to get to, there's Outlaw 11. I see The Pain. Always happy to have The Pain here in chat room. Love it. Good morning. If you're new to the chat, by the way, let us know. So just pop that right there in the chat. Just say newbie, right? We like newbies. Newbies are awesome because then we know, hey, welcome to the club. We're so glad to have you. We can give you a nice warm welcome. So hopefully everything's coming in live at 5. I was last minute shoveling around things going, oh yeah, maybe I want to show this, maybe I want to show that. That could be good. That could be awesome. But if you are new to the channel as well, there's some little housekeeping things just to get you acclimated to the show here. We talk cybersecurity. Anything's on the table as long as it's cybersecurity related. Other things may not get addressed, but you're still free to talk about whatever you like within the chat. We try to keep it kid-friendly here. I want this to be a place that parents can feel good about sending their kids to go learn about cybersecurity if they are interested in that, and they can come on here without worry about the chat getting too raunchy or spicy or anything like that. And of course, if you do have a chat, a specific message, whatever the case is, let me do this. What you need to do is you need to @ my name so that I see it, because otherwise I won't see it. I see there's the raid Team SC. What's up, Kyle? But if you want to make sure that I see you talking to me like Wes did right here, you notice he has @Daniel Lowry right there, pulling off the machine gun shoutouts. Yeah, I had like a bunch of shoutouts I was giving to as I dropped in the chat this morning. A lot of people saying good morning. It's easier to roll that up into one shoutout than 3 or 5 or however many. But yes, but you see that makes it very easy for me to see, or at least a lot easier than just all the random text that can get difficult. Now, being a human as I am, I might miss some things. We got our man Wayne's Real World right there. He's our official, unofficial moderator. He will be looking for things that I'm missing and try to bring that to my attention so that I can see that. And hopefully, with our powers combined, we will be able to get to your questions, get to your comments, and have a really good show, a lot of fun times. And that's what we do. We talk the cyber here. So if you got questions, drop those in. You got some cool comments, you got some neat thing you want to talk about, drop that in the comments, and then we can all start to have that conversation, because that's really what this is all about, having conversation. I see Teraflops is in the house. Tyler Stream was neat to see you. Yeah, last night I was working in my office, and I was doing some stuff into YouTube, and I just happened to see Tyler Ramsby show up in my suggested, and it said he was live. I was like, oh, that's right, he does a live stream. Let me just jump in. And he was just testing things. It's a lot of fun, all us little content creators out there. We're constantly evolving and changing stuff and trying to make it better for our audience and for fun, because we like gear, we like new things, we're tech people. So if we can get something new or do something new, it's always kind of an enjoyable thing to kind of go through. But yeah, he was on last night, and I just jumped in right at the very end of his stream after he was testing. So it was fun to have a little conversation and see everybody there in the chat as well. Code Brew's in the house. What's up, Code Brew? Space Tacos joining us. Kyle, Christopher Ryan Rains. We got Berg. Hello. The Stinger. Carrie Chasen, of course. Well, yes, good news to start off the chat with today. Carrie informed us in the pre-show that he is all but the ink being dry on his new job. Now, it's not a cyber-related job. It's not an IT job, but that's cool. My man's been looking for a job for a hot minute. He says he's starting work on Monday. So everybody give him a big round of applause, a big congratulations. Work is good, and we're glad that you finally landed on something that's steady and hopefully permanent for you, at least give you a nice leg up in the job market. We like to see wins, and we like to celebrate wins whenever we have them. So congratulations, my main man. Steve Young in the house. How's it going? There's Kathy Chambers. Is Tyler here? There he is. There's Tyler. Hacksmart. Yeah, he's here. What's up, Tyler? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, now I think we've yammered on long enough, right? We had a lot to get through this morning, though. We had a lot to get through. It is time for our one of our favorite portions of CyberCast IRL, which is the morning pour. That's right. If you're unfamiliar with the morning pour, that's where I take the special cup, the very special camo cup, the Lord's camo, and we do a little ASMR thing here. But today's going to be a little fun one. I thought of an idea. I thought it would be a fun thing to do. I've got another cup. It's not as special as the Lord's camo, but it's not bad. It's my Grogu tumbler, and it's got a lid on it. It's got some ice in it as well. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? We got a double pour this morning. And of course, today is going to be Monster. We drink Monster around here. Today's going to be Monster Ultraviolet. I haven't had one of these in a while. It's one of my favorites. I love it. And I thought, you know what would be fun? Let's go head to head with Ghost. Oh my goodness, right? Ghost Welch's Grape. Now it's got Welch's on the cover, and I loves me some Welch's Grape. But the last time, if you remember, that we had Ghost on the show, it did not go well. I mean, you guys probably found it quite entertaining to watch me try to drink that swill. That was not fun. But I thought, this is kind of an apples to apples comparison thing. Now, this is obviously the standard, right? The Ghost Ultraviolet is the standard of Grape. But we're going to get 2 cracks. We're going to get 2 pours. I'm not going to be able to get all that into the smaller tumbler, but we'll get enough there to be able to go head to head with G-Host. That's right. So without further ado, let's get to it, shall we? This is going to be kind of fun here. Let me get this out of the way. Give me a little room. We'll get this ASMR thing going here. Get the microphone tilted where it needs to be. Work with me, Mike. There you go. And then let's get that crack. Oh, a slow crack today. Didn't want to give up the Ghost. It doesn't want to give up the Ghost. It will not lose to the Ghost. I can't imagine that being better, but we'll see what's going on here. Ready? Pour. I can smell it. It's amazing. I got a little too overzealous with the pour. Oh, this is not going to be easy. But I made it. Ha ha! Ooh, I didn't think I was going to make that one. I don't even know if I could tap. Okay, good. The ice came up without me having to tap. All right, let's set the standard, shall we? And just get that on the old palette there. Bruh. Yes. That, see, I'm sorry. I'll be very impressed if this even comes close to that tasty goodness right there. Let me get another one just to make sure I got a reference here. Okay. All right, now that we know what good tastes like, let's jump into God only knows what this is going to be like. All right, let's get the Ghost crack and see how that works. Okay. They can it up right. I can smell it a bit. Let's give it the old porridge. Not like, Goldilocks and the Three Bears porridge, but you get the idea. Here we go. Oh, it's clear. It does froth. I'm running out of room. Okay. I got most of that in there, to be surprisingly. All right, a little tap. Here we go. Oh, God help me. Last ghost. I'm having nightmares of the last ghost here. Here we go. Okay, so it's not like horrible, but it's okay. I'm just hold on. I'm a reaction video here today, doubled with ASMR. Okay, so it definitely has ghost tendencies on the back end there, but it's kind of I'm really surprised. I thought this was actually I had like a little worry in the back of my head because it had that little Welch's Grape there on the bottom, that this was going to give Monster a run for its money. It's a bit tasteless, to be honest with you. It doesn't have a strong. Now I'm not like sour facing it like I did with that Warhead watermelon thing, but I mean I could drink this. But there is that ghost thing on the back of it. Once you get it down, it's a little like there's this weird, I don't know, after effect. The pain says ghost energy drink. It's not like horrible. Yeah, it's not horrible. I mean, I taste the Welch's Grape to it, but it's nothing like the Monster. I mean, the Monster to me. I mean, it's got all of this pop. It's got this pizzazz. It's very grapey. But it's not in a bad way, right? Like, it's not a euphemism for something. It's very tasty and flavorful and effervescent, and I like it. This is kind of like grape flavored water with a little fizz in it and some weird after effect to it. If I was in a pinch and I was really hankering for something grape, I'd probably buy a Fanta instead of this but if I needed the energy of it, I guess I'd go for the Ghost. Yeah, not my favorite, but not horrible. Not, that, boy, the last time we did Ghost, that was a train wreck. That junk was, well, all right. Now that we've got proper tackling fuel inside the old person, let's jump into the chat room and see what's going on. Let's check in. I've seen a bunch of comments flying by. That's the hard part about being a one-man show, is watching the chat and doing all the things and talking. And I hate when I miss stuff, but, it happens. Let's see here. Let's back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Where am I? I got Stevie. Okay, I think that's where I'm at, right here. Antonio K. The first pod was fire. A lot of lessons and good advice. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I only assume you're either talking about the jawjacking this morning or you're talking about CyberCast After Dark, which I definitely want to reference in just a moment. Wayne says, no, don't do it. Kyle, did Ghost put a little squelch on you? They did. You see things like you trust Welch's. So that was a good marketing ploy on Ghost's part, because we all like Welch's Grape is probably the standard when it comes to grape juice. So I was hopeful. Like I said, it's not horrible. I don't hate it. The Haircut Fish says, I had Ghost Welch's last week. I did not care for it. It felt like it made me sick. Well, one man's experience was es no bueno for poor Dan. Let's see here. Moving through. Kathy says, how does this not make y'all want to go pee? The poor, yeah, I could see that. The martini glass on CyberCast After, it definitely sounded more like peeing. It's kind of funny. Let's see here. What flavor's the Monster today? We're checking with purple. Danger, Daniel. Danger. Yes. Oh, look out, Pac-Man. Got the Ghost Monster. Yes, we do. Someone, I think it was Kathy, we were talking yesterday, and she was like, you got to get into some shirts. right? You got to start making shirts. I'm like, one thing at a time. You know, this is, like I said, this is not an easy thing being a one-man show. I would love to do some merch, but I got to find the right, you know, t-shirt manufacturer that does the right shirts that I like, that can do the graphics in the way that I like them and all that. And then I got to come up with ideas. But one idea we did throw around is, you know, I'm not officially sponsored by Monster Energy Drink. So it would be cool if I came up with my own monster, like, because then everybody, like, if you know, you know, kind of thing, where we would have that. I love it. Says there goes the ghost sponsorship. Hey man, I feel like Shaquille O'Neal, right? So Shaquille O'Neal does a lot of advertising, right? He does a lot of sponsorship. I heard him at a conference one time. I was at CompTIA conference actually, the ChannelCon, and he said, "I only do commercials and sponsorships with things that I actually use and like." So he uses the general car insurance. He uses rooms to go or whatever it is that he does, right? So if you ever see him on a commercial, that's because he actually uses that stuff. Icy Hot. He's like, I love Icy Hot. It's a miracle thing for him. So he promotes them. He endorses them. I feel like I'm the same way. I would not drink Ghost on the regular. Therefore, if they're not going to come knocking at my door, that's fine with me because I would then feel like a liar. If I was like, Ghost energy drink, the best thing, you know, that, no. Monster, on the other hand, that junk is fire. I love this stuff. Let's see here. Wayne's Real World, Space Tacos. How about a supercut of all the morning pours to date, like a solid 30 minutes or however long, him just cracking cans and pouring drinks? That would be awesome. That would be a lot of work too. It would be a lot of work getting all those. I mean, I have all the raw files, so I guess that would be easier for me to do. But maybe AI could do it for us. Let's see here. Space Ghost Monster. That's a cool idea. Time to ghost the ghost. Yeah, I think it probably is. Gotta be your ribo. Gotta be the riboflavin, says Christopher Ryan Reigns. That's funny. This show is turning into a taste testing segment. It really kind of is. It kind of is. Y'all got some cyber stuff to talk about. Please drop it in the chat. That would be great. We'll get to that. But we do love our morning pour. It is quite fun. This has probably been the longest morning pour ever. All the morning pours today, like a solid 30. Okay, yeah. We saw that one. Thank you, Wayne. Space Tacos. Also, you could use it when you call Monster to discuss your sponsorship. Love the shirt, says Rio Sec. Thank you very much. Everybody knows me, knows I'm a retro gamer. I grew up with this controller right here in my hands for many, many hours of many, many days. And then, even as far back as Atari, I started with computer games on tape cartridges that went into as I want to say it was like a T99 or something like that. It was like a Zenith computer. And my love for video games started. So I don't mind modern games that much, but they just don't grab my attention like older video games. Right now I'm doing Super Metroid and I'm like, holy heck, this thing is hard, but fun, right? It makes you want to come back and keep going. By the way, you want a really good game that will grab your attention? Castlevania 4. Yeah, Castlevania 4. That game is fun. Super fun. Maybe you should just open 30 and then be up all night. Let's see here. What's going on? Tech Ricky says, your monster should have its own guitar. Shred away. Yeah, could be fun. I could do that. Make a little guitar. Dan, you should 3D print me like a little guitar for my monster. That'd be awesome. So suggestions of how to set up a lab to test out the malware DNS. Okay, cool. Thank you, Carrie, for dropping our first cyber-related piece of content today. We'll come back to that. I got a couple other things. Carrie Franklin says you should do group morning pour at Wild West Hackin' Fest. Everyone who drinks Monster can buy. Oh, that's a great idea, Carrie. Let me write that down. In the old idea machine. Actually, I have a board now. I've started to really use Notion a lot. I have one called CyberCast IRL Notes, And let me just throw that in there, which is, yeah, hold on here. Bing, bing, there we go. Why was Hackenfest morning poor with everyone that wants to join? That could get massive because I know a lot of people like Monster. It's a lot of fun. That could be cool. Kyle says, as an aspiring CISO, I want to improve my communication skills. I signed up to do a con talk, but I want to work on day-to-day comms too. Very, very good. Okay, so we got two really good things to start off with. Let's jump back to Carrie. Carrie says, show us a suggestion of how to set up a lab to test out the malware DNS that the hackers are doing now. So, okay, first we got to get into the malware DNS that things are doing. Carrie, if you would, drop me a specific hint on exactly what you're looking for. I don't know. Wasn't Jerry talking about something to that effect this morning? I was kind of in and out of the show. So if you're just talking about using DNS as C2 traffic, then you just got to get a C2 that uses DNS for its traffic. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. A lot of them use HTTP and HTTPS, but some of them also use DNS. If not, you'd have to set up some DNS tunneling. But ultimately, you just look for a C2 that has DNS capabilities, or you would look for a DNS tool. And let's go play around with that. Let's go look for a DNS tunneling tool. What's a good DNS tunneling tool? Nothing's coming to the top of my head. It just could be one of those mornings where my brain's not engaged. But let's see here. DNS tunneling tool or DNS C2 comms. C2 comms. Oh, thank you. Here we go. C2 communications using DNS. TLDR. Yes, thank you, Medium. We know everybody wants us to do something before you can actually look at content anymore. Can we just give TCL? Okay, C2 communication over DNS can be simplified for a couple of DNS records as an internet exposed server listening on port 53. Now, the reason that they're using DNS is because DNS traffic is normal. Let's just start there. It's not uncommon for DNS traffic to in and out of anything, right? Carrie says, I didn't know, Daniel, that was talked about today. I've never messed with a C2. Well, that's cool. I've got some videos on that. So if you need help getting that stood up, I got you covered. Go play around. I've got videos on Sliver, Empire and Starkiller, Adaptix C2. I think of, what was the other one I just did the other day? Covenant, right? They all have various and sundry capabilities. Something like Sliver is probably going to be more your speed. It doesn't need a lot of horsepower to run, but it's very useful. And I can't remember off the top of my head whether or not it has DNS, but let's go check out Sliver. Sliver C2. From Bishop Fox. A very useful piece. I did see MTLS. What? It has a DNS canary for blue team detection, secure C2. So it uses MTLS, WireGuard, and DNS. Booyah. Right there. So this is probably where you want to start. All right. So if you want to set up your lab, cool. I'm in Kali. So spin up a virtual Kali machine. And we go here. And the first thing I would do is just like apt search for Sliver. And there it is right there. So this is going to be easy for you to get installed. It's just going to be, you're just going to do the whole sudo apt updates. Once that runs, you're going to run upgrade -y like that. That way your system is completely updated and upgraded and ready to rock. Anytime before I install software, I would also highly recommend taking a snapshot at this point in time, right? Once you get that run, you do sudo apt install Sliver. Bam, run that command. You can also do -y so it doesn't, if it prompts you, you don't have to wait for the prompt. I have done that before, and I feel like an idiot where I'm like, install, walk away. And I come back, I'm like, it's waiting for me to push yes. Dang it. Hit the thing. So always try to add a -y. There you go. Once that's up and running, Then we can do some Sliver, and we'll do --help. Oh, what do you mean it's not found? Oh, goodness gracious. Sliver. There we go. That's what it is. So you're going to start Sliver server, and you're going to do --help. This is going to show you all the options that you're going to need to do. And so what flags do we have? I think it's pretty straightforward. We've got available commands. We got builder, we got completion, we got daemon, force server start in daemon mode, export secure certificate authority, import certificate authority. So if you want to work with your own certificates, you can generate operator configuration files. So if you have multiple operators, you can do that. I think it's pretty much straightforward, right? This is an easy thing. So Sliver server, bam. Sliver is now running. And then now you start doing the thing, right? Start with help. Help is always a great option because unless you're just kicking around in this every day, all day, you're going to need to remember what these commands are because obviously we have a few commands in here. And you're going to start with like creating a listener. And everybody has their own terminology on what they do. I think with Sliver, it's going to be, where is it? Do you have to do... This is start an MTLS listener. There's DNS, start a DNS listener. I think that's where you want to go. If I'm remembering correctly, so we would just do DNS, or is it, if you need to learn more, I think you can do help DNS, so help whatever command. And there you go. And you can give it all the options, start to mess around with it. So if you have domains, you tell what the listening host IP is, so the interface to bind the server to, the L ports, whether or not it's going to be persistent across restarts. So if you want this listener to always be listening, no matter how often you start or stop, good old Sliver, rock and roll. And from here, you should be able to do that. So I think it's just going to be DNS-L for like, mine's going to be 192.168.1. This is 118, if I'm not mistaken. And then the port is going to be lowercase -l for like, well, if it's DNS, 53 is going to be where you want to go, but you're probably going to need sudo rights for that. And I didn't sudo this, so I'll do 53, just something different. And then I want to say that's it. All right, there you go. Successfully started job one. Now we have a listener we could catch a shell with. From there, so this is the lab. This is it. And obviously you would need another device as your target. You would generate, right? So if we go back, are we where can I do? Let me just do help here. Yeah. So then you would do generate, I believe. Bing, bing, bing. There it is right there. Generate an implant binary. That's how you would create the binary, tell it what listener to connect to. Bada bing, bada boom. You got yourself a little executable file. You push that over to your target however you like, either through a web server or whatever, FTP, you name it, SCP. Use some tool to get that binary from one to the other. Heck, put it on a thumb drive and simulate Stuxnet, right? Oh, I put it on a thumb drive, and then when I plug it in over here, it downloaded and installed. Run it. Once it runs, you should get a connection back, and there you go. So there's your lab. There's just starting to play with. And then now you've got something to work with, right? You've got a lab, you got DNS traffic going, but it's actually C2 traffic. And now you got to stand up Wireshark so that you can look at that traffic. You want to be able to see what's going on. So maybe on the target machine itself, you're starting to do malware analysis. You want to start looking at the running processes and go, what's that process? Anything that looks off or isn't accounted for, that's a process you're going to want to take a look at. Once you find the binary for it, maybe run something like strings to see if there's any human readable things that look hinky on it. Now you start looking at the Wireshark capture. What's all this weird DNS traffic? Let me take a look at that packet and see what's going on in there. Inside of that might be C2 commands, or at least something that doesn't look like normal DNS traffic. And now you start to build that. You look at it and you go, okay, what can I learn from that? How can I, and then you write it all up, you make a blog post and you put it out there and go, here's my Sliver C2 lab using DNS for C2 communications. Here's how I stood it up. I spun up, blah, blah, blah. And you walk through the whole thing, tell your story, have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully that will get you going. All right, back to the chat. Back to the chat. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Let me take a tug here. Man, where did I get, where did I leave off? I hate when I lose my spot in the chat. I should start highlighting where you guys are. Oh yeah, here we are. Carrie Franklin, Group Morning Pour, Kyle. It says aspiring. Okay, this was Kyle. As an aspiring CISO, I want to improve my communication skills. I signed up to do a con talk, but I want to work on day-to-day comms too. Easiest way is going to be to do video, right? If you're talking about verbal communication and being better at that, you're going to start there. Create a video. You don't have to publish it, right? Honestly, that would be the easy thing to do. Publish it out there. Now, I would recommend that you do it, but you don't have to, is what I'm saying. From there, I'm gonna push you hard, and this is where most people go, oh, I don't like this. This is not fun. You're gonna want to watch that video, and then you're gonna want to watch it again. You're gonna want to watch it again, right? And then remake the video, same content, because you are gonna learn what you did not great, that you hate that you do, and you're gonna really pick it out quick. You're gonna be like, why do you keep saying that? Right? Why, Kyle? What are you doing, Kyle? Why do I keep saying that, Kyle? Right? I do it when I'm watching my own videos, when I'm creating all the chapter titles and everything, so that you can easily bop through. I have to rewatch all my own content for that stuff, and to be able to remember what it was that we talked about and give those descriptions. That's not an easy thing to do. So I end up rewatching a lot of my own content, but through that, I see I'm like, oh, you say this a lot. You say too much, Daniel. Stop doing that. Slow down, use your brain, and don't use your mouth before your brain is engaged. You see, I did it right there. It's okay to have cool little pregnant pauses. That's natural human speaking. You want to get to where the camera is just another person that you're talking to. If you have a kind of a monotone thing going on, then learn to be a little bit more, to move and modulate your voices up and down. Dynamic, get a little bit louder for emphasis. And then let me bring it down. Let's talk about this, right? Even your body language, everything about that is going to help you more effectively communicate to your audience. So the more you watch yourself, the more you're going to see the little weird tics that you do. You're never going to get rid of them all. It's never going to happen, right? There's very few of us that reach the Mount Everest of I'm a perfect communicator, or I'm a perfect presenter. But the good news is that there's always room for improvement. You can always be learning, and you will get better at it the more you do it. So if you've signed up for a talk, which you apparently have, which is awesome, and you want to get prepared for that so that when you're ready to do it, and then it made me think here, another good thing of advice would be to get a live audience, get some friends over and go, hey, I would like to test my talk on you. I want you to take notes. I want you to, and people that that are interested. And if you have to do that kind of in private channels through Zoom or Teams or Google Meets or whatever the case is, then do that. Have them watching you live, kind of like what we're doing right now, and then say, hey, I'm going to give this talk. I know you're interested in that stuff. I want to give it to you and a couple other people. And then I want to get some feedback directly right after it's over. And then reach out to them a couple of days later and go, now that you've had time to sit on that, any other advice that you could think of? I've been fortunate to where, I grew up in a family where all we did was sit around the dinner table and tell stories all day. So I've learned to be a good storyteller and narrator or whatever the case is, just through the fact that I grew up in that environment. And then, of course, I would tell stories to my friends, and they would always be like, you're such a great storyteller. You always tell the best stories. Because I would tell stories about my brothers and my family, and it gets really, really crazy. And Kathy knows me. She's like, yeah, they are crazy people in the Lowry family. The Lowrys are crazy people, and they've done crazy things. So there's that. But from there, right? Once I got onto like ITProTV, learning to talk to the camera was a different thing. And then standing on a stage and making those presentations, that was definitely a different ball game. And controlling your anxiety and controlling yourself and just learning that you're allowed to take a breath, right? You're allowed to get in your head for just a second, slow yourself down, think about what you want to say, and then say it. And don't talk until you know exactly what it is you want to come out of your mouth. Now, it's really easy to kind of like start really wanting to have the flow go faster, especially when you're doing like a recording. It can feel like dead air to you, but in a real live environments, that's totally fine. You can have some really good pregnant pauses and it adds to the effect. So there you go. That's my advice for you. Hopefully that helps. All right, let's check the chat. We have Carrie Chasen. I didn't know Daniel that he's talking about the C2 stuff this morning. Kyle says story about hiding malware in DNS records. Then they use DNS over HTTPS. Gotcha. I mean, even though that's a little bit different, the concept really is the same. You're just looking for communications and using the tools that are available out there to start learning how to do malware analysis. I watch a lot of John Hammond videos. John Hammond is amazing at doing malware analysis. That's really what got me kicked off watching him back in the day. He was doing some cool malware analysis and CTF stuff. So loved his stuff. Still do. Great dude. Kathy Chambers, I see you're talking to Jack Scott's talk will help. It won't let me drop a link. Right. If you need to drop links, drop them in. If anybody's watching in Discord, you know what? I didn't even look to see. Is Discord? Where's my Discord? Oh, I don't have it up right now. But yeah, I'm sure if you guys need to drop links, you can do it in Discord. So Kathy, I would highly recommend put that in there for them. And if you're not a part of the Discord, you know what to do. You put that down in there. It's in the description of this video right now. If you need to join the Discord, the link is there. Just go check that out. We'd be happy to have you. Carrie says, I want to set up a VM, but I only have 181 gigabytes free on the hard drive. When I get working, I plan on replacing the M2 drives to make them bigger. Cool. You know what? That's totally cool. I've actually run VMs. You know, you just go with some light, like quick XFCE, right? Isn't that it's the window manager for Linux? You go with the lightest versions of Linux that you can. They don't require a lot of horsepower, and you can run them off thumb drives, bro. I've totally run VMs quite well off of a thumb drive. Let's see here. We're talking about courses. I see Outlaw 11 reaching out to patients. Daniel works for Anti-Siphon. I do. Shout out Anti-Siphon. Those courses will be available to them. They have great training and pay what you can prices. They do indeed. We try to help as much as we possibly can. Yeah, Kathy says, I thought I was a great communicator until I listened to her talk. And then I thought I have some work to do. Yeah, that's another great, thank you, Kathy, for actually putting that. I'm glad I saw that. Even though it wasn't directed toward me, it just kind of caught my eye. Listen to other good communicators, especially if they have talks on how to communicate well. That is going to be a smart move right there. Good job. McTurtleman. Daniel Lauer, do you have any specific security settings you like to use when loading up a VM for the first time? Well, I mean, it just depends. Are you talking about like doing hardening? CIS hardening guides, I think, are probably the best way to go about it. Or if you have a distro-specific hardening guides, and you can just do some Google searching for hardening guides. As far as VMs go, I typically just put them in host only. And then if I need to access them from outside of that network, I'll do some like SSH tunneling to make that happen. But if you need hardening guides, so like Linux hardening guide, just do that. And oh, look at this. We got a Reddit thread. Reddit to the rescue, right? And then, of course, here's another one right here. We've got, this was Madian's Insecurities. This was from 2022, a Linux hardening guide. Here's one in GitHub, the Practical Linux Gardening Guide. Hardening guide. This is my gardening hide. I put it on every time I do my gardening. Killed this deer in Mozambique. It was an amazing hunt. I wear its skin while I garden to remind me of nature and the greatness of the human-animal connection in nature. Right? Where am I coming from? I'm a crazy person. So let's just take a look at something like that. I I don't do a lot of like crazy hardening because I'm not daily driving. They're not my daily drivers that I work with. I keep them kind of walled gardened off, air gapped away. Um, if I was gonna make something, so like I spin up a new Kali like every other month. Like probably every time a new Kali version drops, I'm probably like, now I got a new one. And you just do some basic things like making sure that services that you don't need aren't running. So, and then you can write scripts to do that. So that's kind of where that goes. But it's mostly just testing stuff for all that you're seeing here. I'm not logged into anything. I don't make any real connections to the outside world a lot. And yeah, so there you go. It's all test world for me. Let's see here. Carrie Franklin, gotta bounce. Morning meetings. That get you every time, won't they? Get you every time. Oh, let's see here. So McTurtle Man was the last one. Security settings you like to use. I do like to turn the privacy stuff, like go into the Windows privacy settings because I do daily drive a Windows box for work. So running EDR, and then I go into the Windows privacy settings and start turning stuff off. Don't give me suggestions. Don't anything that's I don't have a Windows account that I'm logged in with, which it complains about all the time, but I think that's a small price to pay. And this kind of brings out the honestly the fact that we had CyberCast After Dark on the other night. It was first episode. Should definitely check that out. I'm gonna bring that up here while we talk. But we had Mishal Khan on, and Mishal was talking a lot of really interesting stuff about how to do OSINT and how to avoid OSINT being effective against your person, right? So let's go there. I've got a playlist for it, even if I'm not mistaken. Yep, look at that. View the full playlist. Let me copy that, drop it in the chat. Oh, I know you're already here, but here you go. Paste, enjoy. But yeah, here we go. Michelle was on. It was great. So check out this episode. A lot of people that watched it, I got a lot of positive feedback about it. And those are going to be some other things that aren't necessarily about the operating system itself, but just some personal OPSEC that you can get into about how to do OSINT and how to, because there was good questions on how do I stay safe from people doing OSINT against me. So really cool stuff there. You should check that out. All right, let's see here. Steve Young's out. Good to see you. Don't have a long day. I understand. We all have stuff to do. Random X says, you know, now that you said that, I should really record myself building the radius stuff. The trouble is I'm doing it in prod. Hey, yeah, that would make it kind of difficult as you work in prod. I mean, you're not building this out in test first. That's fun. YOLO stuff into prod. That's how we roll. Don't come at me with no weak sauce. We doing it live, baby. I just start putting things into production and make it happen. So God bless you, child. I hope it works out well for you. Oh man, Luke Canfield says I'm trying to get past my voice. It's so funny you say that. I have never liked my own voice, but a lot of people apparently do. I get that comment a lot, like, "Oh, I like your voice. You got a really like radio voice." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I've learned to like it more, or I guess that's not the right way to say it. What I've learned is to not dislike it so much. It's more of like like a privation or whatever. There's less dislike than there was before. Sometimes I hear my own voice and I'm just like, golly. But yeah, it'll come to happen. The more you get used to hearing yourself recorded, the less you'll hate it. At least that's my experience. Hopefully that's the same for you. Let's see here. KF Farhat says, tell us the story of how you started with ITProTV. There's actually a video on it on the old ITProTV website where me and Don Pizzette, we did that. We did this whole vignette on how we got started. But the elevator pitch on it was, I knew a lot of them because I worked with Don and Tim and Mike Roderick and Ronnie Wong And I never got to work with Wes. We all worked at as in classroom instructors at a training facility called New Horizons. We were all instructors or whatever. And after Don Pizzette went to work at an insurance company, and then one day I got a call from him and was like, "Hey, we've got a job opening on the help desk here. Would you like it?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm really happy here because I like Tim, and it was a fun job. I liked everybody I worked with, but I saw it as a good stepping stone for my career, so I ended up taking the job." So I worked with Don at the insurance company. Then Don left, went back to New Horizons. That was fun. And then I stayed on for the help desk for a year, and then I got promoted as a junior admin. Then I got promoted to a senior admin, where I did systems and networks for them. And I worked for them for about 8 years. And then one day I get a call, or actually it was an email from Don Pizzette, which I hadn't heard from him in a while because he had moved out to Seattle, and so stuff was going on. I was doing, life does what life does. And he's like, "Hey, started this thing. We should go get lunch." Actually, he said, "Let's go get lunch." And at lunch, he said, "Hey, I started this thing, and I don't want to say I'm here to poach you, but I'm here to poach you." So we did a test teach. Long story short, I turned him down. Tim Broom, on the other hand, was like, "Wrong. You're coming over. Tell me what you need." He talked me into it. I got on with ITProTV, started off just kind of like hosting everything because I have a decent capability of hosting, of talking. And from there, they were like, "Well, you got all these IT skills. Let's start having you teach." And then Don realized I was into cybersecurity, got me some good training. From there, I started doing more training, and then I started making more classes based off of things I was learning. I was like, "Oh, I could teach this. I could do that." I started making courses and then certification courses, so on and so forth. So I worked there for 10 years. And that is the short story of how I went to ITProTV. Oh, yes. Let's move on. Wayne's Real World. Raymond Cruz asked, "Do people use QR decoders or build their own? Public QR decoders or build their own?" I mean, yes. I don't know many people that build their own. Most people probably just use public ones. My phone's got one built into it. You know what I mean? So, Roswell UK, which channel in your Discord should links be dropped into? Probably general, but I can make a links channel if we want. That's probably a good idea. I'll remember to do that, I'm sure. If I don't, someone remind me. Random X says, "I run a medical and I'm thinking of running Cyber Prince's forensic toolkit." Okay. Dataset off a thumb drive. Have you seen that one yet? I have not. Let's go check that out. Cyber Prince's data. What is it? Cyber Prince's forensic toolkit dataset. Okay. Cyber Prince forensic toolkit dataset. Okay. Was that what you said? Yeah. There it is. Forensic toolkit dataset. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about from Kaggle. I have not seen this. Cool stuff. Okay. This, as it says, is, tell us. A forensic toolkit is a comprehensive collection of over 300 digital forensics and incident response differ tools designed for training AI models, supporting forensics investigations, and enhancing cybersecurity workflows. The dataset includes both mainstream and unconventional tools covering disk imaging, memory analysis, network forensics, mobile forensics, cloud forensics, blockchain analysis, and AI-driven forensics techniques. Each entry provides detailed information about the tool's name, command, usage, description, supported platforms, and official links, making it a valuable resource for forensic analysis, data scientists, and machine learning engineers. Dataset is provided in JSON lines, which each line representing a single tool as a JSON object. Okay, that's cool. So that makes it easy kind of workflow. About the file. Cool. Yeah, I have not seen this. This could be cool to take a look at. So I'm looking at that. Thank you for dropping that on us. I have not had a chance to see that yet, so I look forward to that. I have to bookmark that bad boy. Let's see. We got about 10 minutes left to go. Let's get back in this chat. You guys are doing great today. Where am I? Still waiting for the Daniel Lowry audiobook narrator adventure to begin. Yeah. Got to get some of that voiceover work, right? If you guys like my voice, then what the heck? We got to do it. We got to get it going. Wayne's Real World. Ramacoot added a recent. Okay, thank you for bringing this to my attention, Wayne. Had a recent frustration of this is from Raymond Cruz, of not having my phone on me to add a QR password manager. No key available to input. Spent last night building one. Gotcha. Interesting. So you didn't have your phone on you, so you couldn't add QR for your password manager. No key was available to input. Yeah, that is an interesting edge case. Out of curiosity, did you just forget your phone, or was you in like a secure environment where you couldn't bring your phone? What was the reason that the phone was not with you? And so far away from you so that you had time to build a QR system from scratch for that specific purpose. Like that's an interesting thing you got going on there. And would be a great write-up for other people so that they don't have to go through the headache of, and then you can make that tool available and go, cool. I'm sure there's others in GitHub or whatever, but hey, this is a community here. You have an opportunity to give back to the community. Throw that bad boy in a GitHub and say, if you ever find yourself without your phone and you need QR capabilities, here's my little tool. That would be great. That would be awesome. I just saw Luke Canfield talking about, he said, that was pretty much me talking about my garden hides. That was pretty much me a few years ago when a deer ate my garden. That's funny. Moving on. Wayne's Real World, Roswell, UK. Yeah, good idea. I want to remind Daniel Lowry. Okay, what was the good idea? Oh, was it to put it in GitHub or something? Not sure. Where were we going with that? Okay. Well, with a few minutes left, you guys keep talking, keep throwing stuff in the chat. I did want to remind you about CyberCast After Dark that's coming up this next coming Wednesday. I've yet made a card or anything for it, but I will tell you who our guest is going to be. It's a friend of mine that I met at B-Sides Tampa a few years ago. This is his website, Swiss Security LLC. This kid is a rock star. I cannot wait for you guys to hear his story. He's got a couple of things going on here. This is where you definitely want to go. His name's Jacob Swinzinski. And Jacob, I saw him give a talk. He works for Dark Wolf Solutions, and his day job is as a exploit developer for Android systems. He's a young dude. He's like 25, 26 years old, somewhere around in there. He's super young. He's got a lot going on for him. He's very smart. He was giving this talk about, and let's give a shout out to Dark Wolf. So Dark Wolf Solutions, right? I'll just do Dark Wolf. I think it's Solutions. Cyber Resilience. Yeah, Dark Wolf Solutions. Give me that. That's Insane Cyber. I don't think that's it. Wolf and Co. There we go. That's what we're looking for. darkwolfsolutions.com. Look at that. Should have just put .com on the end and we would have gotten there. They have some great stuff that he was a part of, like this Android playbook. You click on that. This is going to be something you want to get into if you're at all interested in mobile security and exploit development in the Android space. So Android Security Research Playbook, you click on this bad boy right here. This is money. You're going to love this. And he helped be a part of that. I can't wait to bring him on. He was telling me his whole story on, oh yeah, let me drop that in the chat for you guys there. Copy, I'll drop that there, and then someone can throw that into the Discord. That would be great. The links page on Discord. Yeah, we will get that going. Don't worry. I will. That's so on my mind now. So we'll have a links page so that we can drop links in Discord and keep the general chat clear of just random chaos. Then it will become too disoriented. But Jacob's story on how he got into cyber and how he went from like zero to pen tester really quickly. And then him kind of, at least if I'm remembering correctly, he was like, pen testing wasn't it wasn't all, he said it wasn't all it was cracked up to be for him. So he taught himself C and C++ and really started going down the road of exploit dev, and then landed the job at Darkwolf as a junior. And I believe he's a senior there now. And yeah, his story is awesome. He's also got, he told me the other day that he went down some rabbit hole on shellcode, and he wants to share that with everyone. I was like, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. So he's going to be our next guest on CyberCast After Dark. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's super smart. Bring your questions about malware development, shellcode, mobile, Android, that kind of stuff. He's going to be able to give you some decent answers on that stuff. So if you have any questions regarding those things, Jacob's going to be able to hook you up. All right, so let's see here. Oh, Kathy Chambers says we produced a really good story on Daniel on ITProTV days. Yeah, she's dropping in Discord. Cool. It's fun. Check it out after today's show. Yeah. Tyler Ramsby, at least your humor works. My humor went out of style in the 90s. Just lean into it, dude. Just lean into it. All right, looks like everybody's kind of checking out. Maybe we'll pull an early one today. Looking forward to, Tyler gave me a shout out last night. Let me give him a shout out. Definitely want to check out Hack Smarter. Let's see here. Hack Smarter. Let's get it. Booyah. Hacksmarter.org. Go get you some of that goodness right there, because Tyler is a wealth of knowledge. And definitely check out his YouTube as well. So let's go to YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Let's look up old Tyler Ramsby. Tyler Ramsby. Ramsby. There we go. You want to get to that channel right there. Oh, I hear you. I know you're a crazy person, Tyler. Quitting your job. You're going on the journey, man. I love watching it. I love seeing you continue to evolve and continue to have success. You're a great addition and help to the community. So everybody definitely check out Tyler's stuff. We'll have to have you on CyberCast After Dark one day. And then you could go right into your live. I know you got a lot of live stuff going on. So I know you're a busy dude, but one day if it ever works out, we'll have you on. It'll be fun. All right, let me check chat. What's going on in Chatola? Chatland. Links page. We get Chris Brenton on, or at least one blue team. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I talked to Fleetus today. I talked to Dan Reardon. We're just getting started. I'm obviously a little more geared into the red team thing, but I do not want to, and I want some good differ people in here. People that are doing DFIR, any cyber thing, right? I mean, my first person on was Michelle Khan. So, right? I'm not against that at all. I totally want to cover all the bases. It'd be great. Yeah, let's raid Tyler. Absolutely. That'll be sweet. Give him a raid. The Stinger says, "Can I have an early one today? My boss is and he makes me work all the time." I know. It's like he wants money out of you, or like his money's worth out of you. It's crazy, right? Listen, I get it. Some of them are like, I want to squeeze every second out of you for the money I'm paying you. Yeah, we'll call it early today. I think we did. No reason to push it any farther than it needs to go. The natural ending, I believe, is right here. What about John Hammond? He's amazing. He's awesome, Victor. You know why I love him? He's a friend of mine. I'll do anything with John. I would love to have him on. So if you guys want to reach out to him, he's a little harder to get a hold of because he is extremely busy. I've got some back channels I could reach out to, which I probably will. I'll tag John, see if he's up for it. But I want to do this every week. I want to do After Dark every week. Yep, Ronnie Wong, absolutely. We're gonna get Ronnie on. Hopefully, if he's got the time and inclination. It's all about scheduling. It's all about timing. It's a lot of work. Ask Kathy Chambers about scheduling people for stuff. and whether or not that's an easy thing to do. It's not. Hey, people have crazy schedules and their schedule doesn't necessarily line up with your schedule. So yeah, oh yeah, I can come on, but it won't be until December. You're like, oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll get that going. And so you gotta hit enough people. So we might not always have a guest on After Dark. If not, no bigs, right? We still run the show. We still have fun. But that's what we're looking to do. Okay, kids, thanks for watching today. It's been a good chat, and I really enjoyed the questions, so thank you for those as well. Looking forward to next CyberCast IRL next Friday. Looking forward to CyberCast After Dark on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you would like to sponsor the show, you got some value out of it, you can. There's a link down there for Buy Me a Monster, and you could sponsor the Morning Pour. Just give $1. It helps every poor monster get poured into a camo cup on Friday mornings. So thanks for that. Hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. And until then, keep hacking.